All right. Nice to be here, everyone. Today I'm going to talk to you about data security for SaaS and Gen AI tools. My name is Rich Vibert, and I'm CEO and co-founder of Metomic. So let me tell you a little bit about Metomic. What we do is we solve the problem of employees creating security and compliance risks in SaaS applications. SaaS applications being Microsoft Teams, Slack, Google Drive, Jira, and also Gen AI tools like ChatGPT. The solution is automatically removing these threats without getting in the way of productivity. And what's unique about Metomic versus all the other different type of cybersecurity players that are out there is that Metomic empowers the employees to remediate the risks themselves. Traditional DLP is often about security teams getting alerts and remediating the alerts themselves, whereas at Metomic we believe that the employees themselves can be empowered to solve their own threats. So why are we solving this problem? The use of SaaS and Gen AI is going through the roof. On average, companies use 130 different SaaS applications across all different departments: HR, product, engineering, customer success. And obviously, Gen AI being very new, already 70% of workers are using Gen AI tools like ChatGPT in their day-to-day operations. So the use of SaaS and Gen AI is extremely important to the modern organization, but at the same time, it introduces a huge number of risks. 60% of IT and security professionals have experienced a SaaS-related data breach over the last year. 48% of employees entering confidential data into ChatGPT tools with no visibility from the security team, no visibility from the compliance team at the same time. So they're extremely productive, we can't live without them, but at the same time they're introducing risks that we've never seen before. Legacy DLP. DLP, for those that don't know, is data loss prevention. It's this idea of cybersecurity security teams often deploy DLP to prevent data getting outside the organization. Things like preventing employees sending emails that contain customer phone numbers. These existing DLP tools do not work in the SaaS and Gen AI world. Why not? Firstly, SaaS is built to share sensitive data. So as soon as you start deploying things like alerts, you end up with a million alerts on day one, because every day, every second of every day, employees are sharing sensitive data in these tools. False positives. It's extremely difficult not just to detect things like a customer phone number, but it's very difficult in the world of SaaS to delineate between what's a risky customer phone number and what isn't. Customer success tools, vendors, they're built to share sensitive data. So differentiating between what's risky and what's not is an incredibly difficult thing to do in SaaS and Gen AI. Finally, outdated remediation. Remediation in the legacy DLP world typically means prevention. It means don't let someone send an email from A to B if it contains sensitive data. The problem this introduces is it gets in the way of productivity. Employees get frustrated, security teams get a really bad reputation amongst the company, and so instead what they decide to do is not do anything about the problem. So how does Metomic work? This is SaaS data security for the modern workplace. Firstly, it's one-click API deployment. So no agents that every employee has to install onto all of their laptops or onto their own desktops. One-click API deployment with our native integrations. So any SaaS tool, Slack, Jira, GitHub, one-click deployment, Metomic will integrate and scan these applications looking for sensitive data. We use AI to find risks that matter. So as I said before, not every phone number, not every credit card number, not every balance sheet that you find in these SaaS tools are risky. So we use AI to find those risks that matter. And for every company, the risk is different. So our tools learn what's important to each company, depending on where their risk threshold is, what industry they're in, where they're based in the world, and all these many, many factors. When we find the risks that matter, Metomic automates policies for ongoing protection. So things like redacting sensitive data after a certain period of time, or redacting the data immediately, or changing the access levels of a file from public to private. In SaaS, there's many different types of remediation. Metomic automates any different type in a flexible manner, so you don't get in the way of productivity. Finally, the big thing that we have been working on, which is proving incredibly successful, is the security teams don't need to handle this all themselves. They can actually enable employees to remediate their own risks. A large part of the risks in SaaS and Gen AI is accidental. It is negligence. It is I didn't mean to upload that credit card number, or I didn't know that we weren't allowed to put credit card numbers inside this tool, for example. So with Metomic, when employees create these risks, Metomic automates a notification to the employee directly to say, hey, you just created something that looks risky. Did you mean to do that? And then the employee can remediate their own risks in the process. What we see is employees getting better at sharing sensitive data, not just in SaaS, but across the entire workforce. We do this for, as you can imagine, SaaS-enabled businesses. So very tech-driven companies, large and small, that are using SaaS in their day-to-day business. They are cloud-based businesses that rely on hundreds of applications to get the job done and to compete in their industry. To give you a couple of examples, I'll share two of our customer success stories. One of them is Oyster. They are an HR platform that allows you to employ remote workers in different places in the world. Their problem was in Google Drive and Slack, and their biggest problem started with they didn't know what was inside Google Drive and Slack. And so the compliance team and the security team didn't even know where to start when it came to reducing the risk. With Metomic, they have 11 active policies, and they have taken 1,500 actions taken on sensitive assets, and 4K violations have been remediated automatically. What do I mean by that? That means 4,000 times an employee has accidentally created a security or compliance risk, and Metomic has automatically remediated that risk without the employee even knowing. Another one is Newman. They're a healthcare company based in the UK. Their problem was making their tools compliant with things like GDPR, but also they wanted to level up their organization in terms of how to share sensitive data safely in all these tools, ultimately to prevent a data breach happening further down the line. With Metomic, there are 14 active policies. They've taken 4,000 actions on sensitive assets, and they have 1,500 violations have been automatically remediated with Metomic. One of the things that is really important to understand is most of our customers are not switching an existing tool to Metomic. Most of our customers haven't been solving this problem up until this stage. It is a new problem for them. They've recognized the importance of it, and they've invested in Metomic to solve a brand new problem. So this is why I present this slide. We invest a lot of time and attention into the success of our clients because it is a new problem that they've never solved before, and they don't know how to solve this problem in a way that doesn't disturb the productivity of the organization, which is obviously more important than ever. So we invest a lot in this area, and it achieves us a lot of success in A, giving our customers the value that they need, but also learning from our clients and understanding what does the future of security look like in SaaS and Gen AI. I'll finally finish on one thing that we offer at Metomic, which has proven extremely valuable, is a data risk audit. So as we saw with the example of Oyster, they didn't know what data was inside these applications. Most companies don't. If I ask any security team, how much sensitive data do you have in Slack? The answer is always, we don't know. What we do at Metomic is we automatically connect into these applications and run a free scan to understand what types of risks are there and can they be solvable. So we call it a data risk audit, and it's a really big part of our initial client onboarding to help them understand what risks they need to solve in the first place. All right, that's the final slide for me. So we like to say lock down your data, not your employees, because a big part of what we're doing at Metomic is data security, but in a way that doesn't get in the way of productivity. My email is richard@metomic.io. Feel free to get in touch anytime. Thanks for your time.